Welcome to 12 Rounds with Chiles. We are back in the building. I want to give a shout out to Brass Mill Sweets. Definitely Dr. Stacy Venables. She has been a key to my life lately, giving me a lot of opportunities. But before we get started, I must say these views and opinions are coming straight from myself and 12 Rounds of Boxing podcast. We are not here to infringe on anyone's beliefs, but we will be straightforward. We will be unapologetic.
That's it.
And today is an important one. We're going to give them lots of energy, and
Big
you'll get a
time.
lot of life's lessons today. We're going to drop some jewels on them today.
Big time.
So I want to
Let's go.
welcome Cliff, 12 Rounds with
Oh,
Chiles.
man.
What's up, man?
It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey,
bro.
look,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I
I'm
appreciate
excited.
you for being here. So one thing I want to say is like, Cliff is a pivotal guy to my life. Everybody goes through struggles. We got peaks, we got valleys, and I'm going to keep it 100%. Cliff is a guy that I meet with every week. This is my therapist, y'all. This is my therapist, the guy that I meet with every week that helps me build my mental health. He taught me how to find some peace within my life because we are learning that without having that peace,
That's it.
it's rough, right?
Well, you can't maximize life without it,
That's true.
especially in today's world.
Yeah.
With the amount of stress that we have.
Yeah.
And the things we see
Mm-hmm.
on the television every day.
Yeah.
Just managing life, period.
Mhm.
Even the good things.
Right.
Working, having family,
Yeah.
having relationships.
That's real. Yeah.
Just everything.
Mm-hmm.
The level of stress that's out here now
Yeah.
impacts our mental health so much
Mm-hmm.
that it's vital that we have safe spaces and we
Yeah.
have somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Just straight
Yeah.
up.
So definitely, man, definitely. I want to get into you a little bit today.
All right.
Because of course we talk. I think it's important that some of the things that we do, we have men's group meetings. That's something that Cliff set up that I'm now a part of, and it's healthy. It's that time that we get to sit around each other and conversate about life, conversate
it.
about relationships, things that we go through as men. But before we dive into all this stuff, man, I kind of want to learn about you.
All right.
What got you into wanting to help people with mental health?
Well, we're gonna be fully authentic.
Yeah,
Because
be all-
that's what I
all
believe
the
in.
way
I
live.
believe in helping men
Yeah,
and women,
yeah,
but I really have a passion for helping men live an authentic life.
right.
You know what I mean? So even your podcast being called 12 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
You think about 12 rounds, you think about a fight, right?
That's true.
For many of us, the fight is the battle of who you think you are
Mm-hmm.
versus who you really are.
Yeah,
And those two yous fighting each other
Right.
for control.
right.
Because a lot of us live these lives covered with masks.
That's true.
So we don't get to show up authentically. We show up how we think people want us to show up,
Right,
what we think is going to benefit us the most,
right.
what we've been shaping
Mm-hmm.
into and conditioned into.
Mm-hmm.
We show up in those ways and we smile.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We shoot
Definitely,
smiles, but
definitely.
inside we're dying
hurting.
every day,
Mm-hmm.
bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So what got me into mental health, honestly, is the way I grew up.
Yeah.
Had a lot of chaos in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the story of a lot of Black families.
That's very
we
true.
just don't talk about it
Yeah.
because a lot of times it becomes this thing of what goes on in our house stays in our
Stays
house.
in our house.
You
That's
better
right.
not be telling our business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
A lot of
yeah.
times, even with Black clients, it's like when they're younger,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they want to say certain things, but you
Right.
can tell they got the pep talk before they came in. They
You
look,
better not
you
say
better not.
Yeah.
That man tell me something. I'm a listen, but
Yeah.
you gonna catch this when you get out. You know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
it's
That's
very
right.
much that because we see it as a sign of strength.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let nobody know I'm struggling because struggle is weak.
Yeah.
That's what it means to a lot of us.
Yeah.
So man, for me, what got me into the field was, man, we had mental health disorder, illness, and stress going on
Mhm.
in my house,
Mm-hmm.
and none of us really knew it.
Yeah.
We just thought it was a struggle.
Right.
So, man, I didn't even know until doing my own work in therapy
Right.
a few years ago. I thought I just had sleep apnea in my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, man, I was depressed my entire senior year.
Yeah.
I would literally sleep 7 hours a night, come to my first period class,
Uh-huh.
which was physics, which I love. My favorite teacher,
Yeah.
Miss Clem.
Yeah.
I loved going to that class, but I would come in and immediately pass out.
Really tired.
Yeah. Not tired physically, though, because I slept for 7 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But just dealing with low mood,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
financial stresses at our house.
Yeah.
My parents under tremendous amount of stress. Sisters under tremendous amount of stress.
Right.
Feeling like I didn't fit in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wanting to be accepted.
Right.
And not talking to anybody about it either.
Yeah.
You know, we often say what we suppress caused us to be depressed.
Yeah.
So, man, I would suppress a lot of things. I wouldn't talk to anybody about when I was sad, when I was scared,
Right.
when I was fearful. I was dealing with a lot of fear.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I would mask it behind anger.
Right.
Or just shutting down. So I was going through that. My family was going through stuff. And honestly, if we would have had resources, we could have got help.
Right.
So we ended up getting help as adults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As adults, we get help.
Yeah.
After you know, parts of your adult life are struggling. So in seeing that, and then just the crazy thing is I'm going through all that, but I always had a love for people.
Yeah.
So when I first went to college, I went to Hartford Community College first.
Oh yeah, you started at community college?
Yeah, I started
that's
community
cool.
college.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to North Carolina A&T. Stuff was going on in the house. Couldn't get my financial aid packet done.
Yeah.
And ended up not going. And you know, that hurt me. And I never dealt with it.
Yeah.
That's what happens oftentimes. We don't deal with things. We just keep moving.
Definitely. I think as men, we go through that a lot.
We're socialized for that. Be strong. Be tough. Man, you be all right.
Yeah. Don't show no
weakness. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I know you ain't crying over that. You know, how many men got their cry stole when they were little boys?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
true.
I had that wound. Never dealt with it. You know what I mean? Bleeding out, but not seeing it, not paying any attention.
Yeah.
Went to Hartford Community, transferred to Maryland Eastern Shore. My best friend was going there. And I was electrical engineering major at first.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was two things that drew me to that. I love science and engineering.
Oh, I know you love science.
And I love math.
Yeah.
I was very good at both.
Yeah.
And they said you make $100,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, oh, yeah, I'm gonna be an engineer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be an electrical engineer.
Right.
And then had money issues and had to come back home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know that hurt.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know that hurt.
I was mad.
Yeah.
I was mad at my parents.
Right.
I was mad at the world. I was mad at God because I'm like, man, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a believer,
right.
I'm a Christian. Why I gotta go home? I've went through enough in life. So I just came home mad, man, and ended up working 2 jobs and just kept praying, said, Lord, get me back to school. Open the door for me. So in that time, I was out of school for a year, probably about a year and a half, really. And during that time, I really got a chance to think about, what do I really want to do in my life? Do I really want to be an engineer? And then I thought about it. I said, man, I'm never going to be around people doing electrical engineering. It's a lot of solo work.
Right.
So I said, nah, I want to do something people oriented. I love people.
Yeah.
So went back to Maryland Eastern Shore, changed my major to sociology.
Okay.
Changed my life. So, you know, sociology is the study of groups and how, you know, they operate in environments in the world.
Right.
So loved it. Graduated from there, got a couple jobs, got married, had a son.
Yeah.
And man, at the time, I knew I wanted to grow.
Yeah.
You know, I was barely making any money.
Yeah.
I kid you not, bro. We were surviving. I got a wife and a son making $18,000 a year.
Yeah.
Had a job I loved.
Yeah.
But just there was no movement in that job.
Right.
So I came to my wife one day and I said, I got more in me. You know what I mean? I said, I got more. So I want to go back to school, get my master's. So went back, got my master's in mental health counseling. And man, it was hard because, you know, there's a lot of time away from my wife and my son studying.
Right.
And ended up taking an internship at a community-based health center. And they ended up hiring me really before I finished my internship.
Really?
Yeah, so I've been in mental health going on, it's been about 9 years.
Okay.
So I was with them pretty much for 9 years. Started private practice, really just walking it slow.
Yeah.
For the past 3 years and went full-time into December.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so now I'm full-time private practice.
Okay.
But what really, like I said, what got me into it is knowing what my family dealt with.
Yeah.
And thinking about what if we had the resources and who else is dealing with this, and really looking at mental health. Like, I don't see nobody that look like me doing this.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
You know what I mean? Right. And just knowing how important mental health is and how much it impacts your life.
Definitely.
And how much we ignore it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So that's what drew me into the field.
Right.
And you know me, I got a heart for men.
Yeah.
I really do. I got a heart for men. I want to see men operate in their maximum capacity. Because a healed man leads to healed families, healed marriages, healed communities, and healed nations. Right. And how many men are wounded, but they're hiding it behind stuff? You know what I mean?
A lot of us.
Yeah.
Most of us.
Yeah. All of us at some degree.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. The beauty of being a therapist is you give people permission to feel. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? You give them permission to feel. You give them permission to tell people, man, yeah, I'm not okay. Yeah. And it's okay for me to say I'm not okay. Yeah. You know, and it's okay for me to get support. You know, it's okay for me to, instead of numbing my emotions or avoiding how I feel, it's okay for me to learn how to, we talk a lot of times about sitting with your emotions. What you're really saying is that you can experience a feeling and an emotion, even if it's intense, and not run away from it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. I can be sad and I ain't got to go get high. Yeah. Because I don't want to feel sad, or I can be nervous or I can feel alone and I ain't got to make a midnight call. Yeah. You know what I mean? And get some company. You know what I mean? Or go have a drink. Yeah, that's right. Or wild out and explode in anger. You know, that it's okay for me to explore what's really going on. Yeah.
That's something that we're missing. We look at a lot of, you get on the news every day, people are dying. We're killing people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know how to express the feelings. I feel like a lot of the kids these days don't even feel certain emotions anymore. You know what I'm saying?
They numb themselves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. It's scary to feel your feelings.
Oh,
it is.
I know.
It's scary. That's why we avoid it. Right. Because you're like, okay, if I feel this, what do I do with it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. If I really tell you how I feel, what are you gonna do with it?
Right.
Are you gonna reject me or accept me? Are you gonna pull away from me?
Yes.
You know, am I gonna do stuff that I don't want to do?
Right.
Am I gonna explode if I allow myself to feel? You know what I mean? Are you going to use my feelings against me?
I think that's what most men scared of, right?
Oh, yeah.
You deal with it with a lot of relationships and marriages, things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. You do. Think about it. Women are taught from little girls. Like my daughter's 7. She got the Barbie dollhouse. She got the Barbie. She do the hair. She got style. She got swag.
Yeah.
She want to show up a certain way. I just left her field day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And her and her brother. And she ran into a friend of mine and she was like, hey, my dad's going to be excited to see you. He's coming. And he was like, you know who I am? Yeah, I saw you at such and such and you were at such and such. Yeah. You know, my sons don't remember details like that.
Right.
Because that's just, you know, they're kind of not wired that way. So you think about it. Women train to be mothers and wives from jump. Maybe not so much more now because, you know,
social media.
Well, not only that. I mean, roles have changed.
That's true.
You know, women just don't want to be housewives anymore.
That's true.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because they bring so much to the table. But, you know, if you look at in the past, you know, you were socialized and trained. They're wired more to be open with their emotions and to tap into it, where we tend to think analytical and intellectual, and we want to reason with thinking,
right,
instead of reasoning with emotions, unless it's anger or lust. Yeah, we'll reason with those
all day long, right?
Yeah. So, but most men, who teaches us how to be in relationships with women? Who teaches us how to be fathers?
Yeah.
Also, he teaches us to deal with our emotions.
Yeah.
He tells us, like you said, he tells us, suck it up, be tough.
Be tough.
Be strong.
Right. Yeah.
Man, you're a thug. You're a dog. You're a savage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes. Get him, son.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Don't let nobody punk you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't cry in front of nobody. Don't show no weakness.
Yes.
And as black men, man, look, it's scary for us to show weakness because we always feel like we under threat.
You gotta have your chest out, right?
Yeah,
all the
well,
time.
Think about it. There is something called vicarious trauma, which is anytime you're talking about trauma, you're not talking about what happened to you. You're talking about the effect that what happened to you had on you.
Okay.
From a psychological or thinking level, an emotional level, feeling level, a physical level.
Right.
You know what I mean? A relational level.
Right.
Did it affect your relationships? Did you have impairments in being social? So, and when you're talking about vicarious, you're talking about experiencing something that happened to somebody else, but it feels like it happened to you.
Yeah.
So you think about it, like last week, you had the young guy going to the grocery store in Buffalo, and shooting murder. You know what? 11 people.
11 people.
Yeah, shot 13.
Yeah, killed
11, and specifically said, "I did that because they were black, and I want to get black people off the earth." So you think about it.
Yeah,
you feel that yourself. Like, look, can I go into a grocery store and be straight?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what vicarious trauma does. Like, for instance, when we were in the height of the pandemic with George Floyd.
Right.
George Floyd, that was the last police brutality video I watched. And I told myself I'll never watch anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to watch it to know what's going on.
That's true.
What it did to me, though, is when I watched it, I saw me with the knee on my neck.
Right. And you have sons.
Yeah, comparable to my size.
Right.
You know, you look at Ahmaud Arbery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tamir Rice. You look at the it's the one guy, the young guy in Florida that had the hoodie on.
Oh, I can't get his name off the top of my head, but I know. Yeah, he had the skin. Yeah.
My son looked like him when he put his hoodie on. You know what I mean? So I had so much vicarious trauma from that.
Right.
That I was like, man, I can't watch this because it's not good for my mental health. You know, it makes me more hyper vigilant. In other words, it puts me more on alert. Yeah. And makes me not feel safe. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm always scanning everything. Yeah. And you have to relax at some point. Yeah. You really do.
That's true.
So you think about it. So you have men that are dealing with things like this, but don't have outlets, not healthy ones, or don't feel like they can talk to anybody. Yeah. Because, you know, if you think talking's for suckers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or you say therapy is white people stuff. Yeah. Or you say, I ain't going down there. I ain't going down there talking to that
That's
dude.
what most people say. Hey, I'm gonna be honest. When I first started meeting with you, and I was telling people I'm going to therapy, well, what you need to do that for?
Exactly.
You all right?
Don't let that man trick your mind. Yeah, trick your mind.
Exactly.
You telling that dude your business. Right. And it's not even about that. It is really about helping you see you. Yes. It's about helping you see you. And people have this picture of what therapy looks like. You're gonna lay out on the couch. First of all, every time I meet a client, first thing they say is you don't look like a therapist. Yeah. And I say that's good. Yeah. I'm always curious what I look like. Yeah. You look like either football player, basketball player, or cop or something. All big. Yeah. You don't look like no therapist. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the last thing I'd have thought. You know. But I'm like, good. Because we want to change the face of what a therapist looks like. Right. We want to change the face of what going and asking for help and getting support looks like. You know, with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, you know, and anytime you talk about awareness, you talk about getting a knowledge of or perception of. Yeah. So, you know, we want to help people know or be aware of where they are mentally. Yeah. Because it affects everything. Definitely. It really does. Because when we talk about mental health, we're talking about what impacts and affects how you think, what you feel, and how you act. You know, things that impact you on a psychological and emotional and a social level. You know, your ability to handle stress appropriately and to go through life and to realize your potential. Yeah. You know what I mean? You want to have good mental health, just like you want to have good physical health. Right. Matter of fact, most of the time, and research has shown this, a lot of people that have physical health diseases and disorders such as diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, have a lot of unprocessed trauma and unprocessed stress. Because what stress does and trauma does is it affects your immune system. Makes it easier for you to get sick, easier for disease.
Right.
And think about it. Think about if you were violated when you were 6 and you 56 and you never told anybody.
Yeah, you never worked it out. Yeah.
Think about what that's doing to you internally.
Right.
And then physical ailments show up. Because, mental health and mental illness are not the same thing. A lot of people think they are. They interchange.
You're going to have to break it down.
Oh, yeah, I'm breaking it down. I got to.
Now, yeah.
So like I said, I told you mental health has to do with your psychological, social, and emotional well-being, affecting how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you handle stress.
Right.
Mental illness are diagnosable conditions.
Gotcha. Okay.
They have a certain criteria you have to meet. Mental illness impairs your mental health. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean you can't have good mental health, because there are plenty of people who, go to therapy, have medication, do lifestyle changes, exercise, change their environments, get support, who are able to have good mental health.
Right.
But mental illness is an impairment and a disorder that affects your mental health.
Yeah.
So they're not the same. Everybody has mental health.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have mental illness.
True.
But many of us do experience mental illness at some point in our lives.
Right.
But it doesn't mean there are people that may never experience it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like with trauma. Like I said, trauma is about what happened, the effect it had on you, not just what happened.
Right.
So, for instance, you and I could be in an earthquake. I remember years ago we had the earthquake here and there, and everybody was wilding because you don't have earthquakes here.
Yeah.
So everybody like, I can remember specifically where I was. I was at an office in Elkton. I was standing in the doorway talking to the person that was supervising me during my internship, and it started rumbling. And she was like, "What is that?" And I said, "Earthquake." I don't know why I was so calm. Earthquake. And everybody, people started jumping under desks.
Yeah.
Now, it was traumatic for a great many people, right? But think about if somebody was from California or some other area where earthquakes happen on a regular basis. They'd probably like, that ain't even no earthquake. What is that, man? Get from up under that table. That ain't nothing. They may not experience it as traumatic, but that same person, let's say they had a terrible experience and they were trapped in an earthquake when they were 6 and now they're 15. That earthquake, as small as an intensity as it may have been, could be very traumatic for that person because it triggers what they dealt with before.
All right.
So trauma is the effect that an event had on you and not an event itself.
Right.
Because that event might not be traumatic to you.
Yeah.
You may have little to no impairment from it, and somebody else can go through the same thing.
Right.
And it devastates them and shuts down their lives.
Right.
And they stop hanging out and they isolate, and maybe clinical depression may show up, or they may deal with a lot of anxiety. So it's dangerous to tell somebody that shouldn't be traumatic to you. And it's dangerous to tell people how they should feel.
Yeah.
And honestly, you don't have a right to tell nobody how they feel.
Ain't that the truth?
How they feel is how they feel.
Right.
What you need to do is hear them out.
Yeah.
So,
and that's important, man, because that's something that I learned from you is don't just react, but explain to people how it makes you feel. Yeah. And I think now in my relationships, the people that's around me now, being able to just, because I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't know how to talk about my emotions, how I feel about something, whether it be an argument or a business deal or whatever that may have brought me some type of anxiety at that time. I didn't know how to really have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going in, but now I got a journal. You know what I'm saying? That was something big. I got a journal that now I'll sit down the night before, or now sometimes I just sit down just to sit down. Right. I may be going through some anxiety from work or something that I'm dealing with in my relationship or something like that, and I'll just jot it down, go through my feelings. You know what I'm saying? I now have a process, and that's something that I want to talk about too, are just different things that people can do to kind of help them with those anxieties, help them if they're going through some type of depression, because everybody can't go to a therapist. Of course, there are people out there that may not have the means, you know what I'm saying? And there are also people that are starting to realize, like within their kids or their partner or just somebody in their circle, that hey, they got some emotional stress or some kind of mental stress going on, and a lot of people don't know how to help. You know what I'm saying? So what are some ways that you can help people or start to look for these things in people when they need help with it?
Well, I think first and foremost, we just came out of a pandemic, and we're really not even all the way out.
Right.
But I know a lot of us are carrying it like we are.
Yeah.
So that alone has had a tremendous effect on us.
Yeah.
Like you hear about all this violence in the schools now, and you look at all the violence, all the shootings we're seeing, and how so many people are on edge. It is because as human beings, we are wired for connection.
Yeah.
And we went through a period of 2 years where we couldn't connect.
Right. Right.
It's not healthy and it's not natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not natural to not be able to hug your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you think, am I going to give you something that's going to kill you?
Yeah.
It's not natural that your kids can't go outside and hang with their friends. Now, you can't hang with your friends because we don't want to spread COVID or we don't know what's going on over there. It's not natural to wear a mask to school every day. I commend these kids going to school, had these masks on, had to separate, had to give each other distance.
Right.
You know, these things aren't natural, and it shifted us so much that all of us have been affected on some level.
Definitely.
To various degrees. We may try to say, nah, I'm good. I went through COVID like nothing. Like a lot of people that are introverted told me I've been training for the pandemic my whole life because I don't talk to people anyway.
Right? Yeah.
But you know what I tell them? You do that because that's maybe how your personality is wired and everything. But you still, if you decided to or had an urge or an inkling to do so, you still had the ability to do so.
Right.
What the pandemic did is it forced you.
Right.
It stripped you of your choices. Anxiety, for instance, which is the concern, fear, or worry about what could happen.
Yeah.
It's not based on what's going to happen. It's based on your fear of what could happen.
Right.
And anxiety thrives on things being chronic, like happening over and over again.
Right.
It thrives on you not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It also thrives on you feeling like you have no control.
Right. Yeah.
Or not having any control in the situation, period. Those things drive up anxiety. All those things were present during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So all of us were affected in certain ways. You know, your job became, I know, like for me, my home became my office.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I hated it.
Yeah, no escape.
Yeah, right? I hated it. Yeah, no shift.
Right.
Home didn't feel like home anymore. I'm watching my kids do school. My son playing on couches while he in class. my other son doing sessions in the bed with the camera off. You know what I mean?
Hey, kicking it. Yeah.
My daughter doing kindergarten in front of a computer screen.
Yeah.
That's terrible. My son doing 9th grade in front of a computer screen.
Right.
You know what I mean? How's that not affect you? So some of the ways for us to maybe identify somebody maybe struggling or having challenges with their mental health is, have you noticed changes in their sleep? Whether they're sleeping less or sleeping more. Notice changes in their appetite.
Yeah.
Are they eating more? Are they eating less? Are they starting to withdraw themselves? Are they walking away from activities they used to find enjoyable? Matter of fact, most of the time, you know, when I'm dealing with people who are dealing with depression, one of the biggest things that shows up is things don't excite them anymore. They don't find joy or passion in things that used to really make them come alive.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, and the key thing is everybody needs to understand we're all susceptible to this stuff. Therapist, president, pastor, housewife, teacher, it does not matter.
Right.
Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, you know what I mean? Transgender, transsexual, pansexual, non-binary, it does not matter.
Right.
We're all susceptible to challenges with our mental health because we're human beings.
Yeah. And I think,
you know what I mean?
That takes me to a point that I was like, I think me and you were talking one day and you was like, man, I go to therapy.
I do.
And it hit me like, the therapist going to therapy.
I don't know if I would I don't know if I would hire a therapist that don't go to therapy. That might be one of the questions you want to ask, because you want to ask your therapist certain questions. Potential therapist, you want to ask them certain questions.
Right.
You know, what their qualifications are.
Right.
What they, you know, what their specialties are. What they work with. What kind of results do they get?
Right.
You know, because it's so much of it's about fit.
Yeah.
I want to tell people, look, ask them, do they go to therapy, or have you went to therapy? You know, a lot of master's degree courses have people that are studying to be therapists or social workers. They have them go to therapy. It's like for most classes, they have you go through a period of going to therapy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because you have to be self-aware. You got to know yourself doing this work.
Definitely.
You know, but back to your question, you want to look for changes. And also, the biggest thing is, the more you're willing to hear somebody, you can figure out what's going on with them. You might not know exactly, but people often want to be heard.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about helping somebody, even if you don't know how to help, letting somebody know, I'm here. What do you need?
Yeah.
Do you need me to just sit here and hold your hand?
Right.
Do you need me to talk something out with you? Do you need me to give you some space? Do you need a hug? You know, do you want me to just sit here in silence with you?
Right.
That's the biggest way you can help somebody.
Yeah.
You know, as men, we want to solve everything.
You already know that.
Solution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
You talk to me, I'm like, oh, here's the answer. And you might just want to be heard. So the biggest thing you can do is, if you see these signs, be open and tell the person, hey, I happen to notice. I happen to notice, man, you've been sleeping a lot lately. You know, how are things going?
Yeah.
You feel any changes on the inside? You know, how happy are you right now?
Yeah.
You know, you want to ask open-ended questions. You don't want to just be like, how you doing? What do people say when you say how you doing?
I'm all right.
I'm all right. I done told people I'm all right inside. I'm crying
all the time. For a long time.
Yeah, pieces. I'm good. Number one, what you gonna do about it if I tell you I'm not good? Secondly, you don't care. No.
Right. Because most of the time I feel like we always worry about what the person gonna think, how they judge you. And that's one great thing that I keep saying it, but another thing that sitting down with you is non-judgmental. I can tell you about things, my traumas. I can tell you about the things that I've done. You know what I'm saying? And I can speak and just talk, and it helps so much.
And it is supposed to.
Yeah.
Because we ethically have to create a non-judgmental environment. In other words, we have board of ethics that if, let's say, somebody feels judged, that person has to address it with their therapist.
Really?
Because we are ethically bound to create a non-judgmental, and you want to create a non-judgmental because you're creating what I call a safe space.
Yeah. Yeah.
A space where you get judged is a space you don't feel safe.
Exactly.
Think about it. When you walk in a room and you're the only one that look like you, automatically, part of your brain is like, man, are we good?
Oh, here we go.
Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, where's the exits? Where the entrance? And man, everybody in that room may want to embrace you. But internally, you like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You might not feel safe.
Right.
You know. So you have to create that safe space. It takes time.
Right.
And that's why I said the biggest predictor of therapy going well is the relationship between the therapist and the client.
Yeah.
You can throw all the tools you got, because I'm always, like I said, I'm in a training right now.
Yeah.
Virtually.
Yeah.
For the next day 3 or 4.
Yeah.
On trauma, which I love working with.
Right.
But you can get all the techniques you want. Be as skillful with theories and certain treatments, cognitive behavioral therapy, narrative therapy. There's so many. Rational emotive behavioral therapy, client-centered therapy, acceptance and commitment there. You can be as skilled as you want with all these things. If you can't connect with the person working with you, it won't work.
Yeah.
Because that person won't take what you're working on in therapy and apply it.
Right.
Because there's no level of trust there. They're like, okay, whatever. I hear you.
Yeah.
We chop it up for 45 minutes to an hour.
Right.
Nah. So the biggest predictor is that relationship. And I tell clients all the time, the credit belongs to you because you're the expert on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm providing that space for you to look at things in a different way.
Right.
Maybe hear some things in a different way.
Right.
Unpack some things that you've been carrying, some of that weight.
Yeah.
Learn some different ways to deal with things. Really learn what's the root of what's going on with you, as opposed to just trying to manage symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I love trauma work, because trauma is about what happened to you. It's not necessarily about what you're doing right now. It's about what happened to you that's creating this behavior, because that behavior serves some type of purpose for you. You do these things because you're either trying to self-soothe or you're in pain or you have been conditioned to show up this way because certain things happen to you and you're trying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's why we have to become comfortable feeling our feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I sent out something to the men's group. I don't think I said it to you.
See, there you
on
go.
A separate text. I said it to you. But I'm gonna tell you it.
Yeah.
I said this. When you give yourself permission to feel, you give yourself permission to heal.
That's 100% true.
Yeah. So how you gonna heal something you don't feel?
Yeah.
If my leg is broken and I had no pain receptors, no nerve receptors, I'd be running around with a broken leg and not know it because I can't feel the sensations that something is wrong. So anytime we deny ourselves the opportunity to feel, because so many of us are numb to stuff or continually numb ourselves when we feel an inkling of anything coming up, you can't heal it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anytime we play the tough Tony role, we avoid an opportunity to heal. And I mean, sometimes you gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes, I tell guys in that group, you gotta give them the lion and the lamb. Because you still a man.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to show up with that strength.
That's right.
But sometimes people need to see my emotional side too.
Yes.
Even my boys. Sometimes my boys need my hug. Mothers are nurturing, but sometimes they need dad's hug.
Yeah.
They need dad's touch.
Yeah.
They need dad's kiss. Yeah, I kiss my sons.
Yeah.
My dad still give me a kiss. He listen to this. He's like, man, look, I'm dry snitching.
You go with that soft stuff.
Stop dry. Nah, man. The older we get, the more open we are.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
I think I'm learning that with my mother. The older she gets, the more we open up when we talk about emotions and feel.
Yeah, because you look back at all those regrets.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang.
Yeah.
Man, what did I do? What did I miss out on? You know what I mean? And tomorrow ain't promising none of us.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I like to help people. Depression gets you stuck in your past and what happened to you.
Right.
Anxiety has you worried about the future. You know what I mean? You want to get in that middle space, present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's that sweet spot, being present in the here and now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not getting too caught up on what's coming.
Right.
I mean, you want to plan for your future. You don't want to be willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And your past did shape your current state, but you want to be present. I mean, be in it.
Yeah.
Acknowledge what you're feeling.
Right.
Because you talked about, did you ask too about what some tools you can do to help you?
Yeah, some things that we can do.
Or that you can even help yourself, like if you can't get to therapy. And the bad thing is everybody should have access to therapy.
Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe that.
Man,
yeah.
So like I want to have a nonprofit where I can work with people and provide therapeutic services to those little to no cost. You know what I mean? Because everybody should have access to therapy. You really should, because it'll transform your life.
It does.
And here's the thing. You don't have to be devastated to come into therapy. Like there's this thing called adjustment disorders, which is simply something has occurred in your life that is causing you to have to adjust. If you're a parent and you just got the last kid out to college, you go through empty nests.
Yeah.
You have to adjust.
Yeah.
If you move to a new city for a job, you're excited about it.
Yeah.
But you also have been uprooted from what you knew. Yeah. All your friends.
I went through that.
Yeah, knowing everywhere to go. You be on autopilot driving around. You know, you have to adjust. Sometimes you can talk to a therapist about that. You know, so therapy is for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just, man, I'm having suicidal ideation. I want to, you know, I don't want to live, or I have severe depression. I haven't gotten out the bed in 6 weeks.
Right.
Or because look, most people that have depression don't look like what we think depression looks like anyway.
Right.
You know, we were talking about that right before we got on, where you know, a lot of people that are dealing with depression are smiling at you every day.
The time.
They're highly successful.
Yeah.
You know, they look like they got it all together. And inwardly, their mood is just low.
Yeah.
It takes everything they got to get through the day, and they go home and fall out and crash because they got nothing left. And they're wearing that mask of success.
Right.
That's why when we watch people, unfortunately, die by suicide who are successful. Like we were talking about the young lady.
She was
Miss USA. Yep, Miss USA.
Yeah.
You know, who looked like, you know, life was wonderful for her. Internally, she's in tremendous pain.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody that looked was like, man, she looked like she was so happy. So we got to check on people. The biggest thing is too, check on everybody anyway.
Yeah.
Just check on people.
I feel like we lost it.
We have.
You know, like you go to the store now, you don't even talk to nobody. You just ring the groceries up yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I talk to, and I make everybody talk.
That's what I do too. I speak to
everybody. I talk to everybody. In my gym, they call me the mayor.
Oh, I know.
Because I talk to everybody because you don't never know what you talking to somebody, what it could do to them. That person may have came in thinking the world is just a horrible place and nobody cares about me, nobody likes me, and I don't matter.
Right.
And then you talk to them. You hold the door open for them. You know, so especially now as the world gets colder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just need to check in on people anyway.
That's right.
And check in on yourself. That's the big thing about the main person whose mental health you need to be aware of is your own.
Right.
Check in with yourself. Do things for yourself. Some of the things that can help. I hear people talk about all the time the gym is my therapy. That's a lie.
Don't say that after I said that.
I have to say it's a lie. Because the gym is not therapy. The gym is therapeutic.
Yes.
It releases endorphins and it raises your serotonin levels. These are hormones that make you feel good.
Yeah.
And get released in your from brain and in your body. It make you feel good. But they're not therapy.
Right.
Because they won't get to the root of what's going on with you.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
They'll make you feel good in the moment. You know, people talk about music is my therapy. It's therapeutic. It's not therapy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Even self-help can be therapeutic, but it's not always therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I use some workbooks, or I'll give clients, you know, some workbooks to work on depression and anxiety and things on their own. But it doesn't replace that connection of therapy, that safe space, that place where you can unpack and not get judged, you know, and you can show up however you want to show up. Because, you know, everybody does stuff differently. Like I've heard people say they have therapists that won't let them come in and cuss. Like, man, I don't care if you cuss.
Yeah, you know,
I just want you to be you.
Be you. Yeah.
This might be the only, that 1 hour a week might be the only hour you get to just be you unapologetically.
Yeah.
And you can just show up and ain't nobody gonna say shut up or say, man, I can't believe you said that or act like that. Because we often don't get that.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's really about living an authentic life. You know, things we don't get to engage in.
Yeah.
And you got to fight for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Might take you 12 rounds. You might have to have a trilogy bout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a battle.
Yeah. It's a daily battle. But I want to encourage people and let them know you're worth it. You know what I mean? You're worth it. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help. You know, it's okay. We can do a series. It's okay to be vulnerable. Yeah. You say that word, boy.
Ooh, that's
I think
every man say, ooh.
Well, I was listening to him till he said that.
Yeah.
Now I'm done with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay to be vulnerable in certain spaces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Certain spaces. You gotta have some spaces though where you can take that mask off, where you can lay that armor down. You gotta have that.
Yeah.
You know. And therapy is also confidential. Notice he said he see me.
Yeah.
I didn't say
I am not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
It is something that it's so important to me now.
Yeah.
It's so important.
I got clients that walk straight past me in the street.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to acknowledge me because it's confidential.
It's confidential.
Nobody needs to know.
Yes.
Matter of fact, part of me likes people not to know.
Yeah.
But then I get why. And I appreciate you saying how much it's helped you. Because that's part of the reason why I do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see people's lives change. Right. But yeah, it's confidential. You ain't tell nobody nothing if you didn't want to. But rest assured, they'll never know from me.
Yeah, that's how
they'll never know from me.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just so important to me that I just get the word out because a lot of people look at me and they like, hey man, what you got going on? You always smile every time. I'm smiling because I get a chance to go and just let my guard down. I let my wall down. I get to just talk. And every time we have those conversations and I get to and I leave out and I'm like, I'm gonna spread that word with somebody else. Now I have a way to go teach, like a part with the nonprofit, with the boxing program, stuff like that. I have a way to go talk to these kids that don't get this. You know what I'm saying? Right. I get the chance to unpack these kids and what they're going through, and it just feels so good to me, man.
Because it allows you to show up, as you.
Yeah.
Here's the thing to understand too. Even if I'm sad or going through, it doesn't mean I have poor mental health. It means I'm experiencing those emotions.
Yeah.
Emotions and feelings are clues.
Yeah.
They let you know something's up. Like for instance, anger. I love working with anger.
Yeah.
Because anger's funny.
Yeah.
People always talk about they mad, they angry. You need to help him or her work on their anger.
Right.
But anger is what I call a masking emotion. What I mean by that is anger shows up, right? But underneath that anger is what you're really feeling. Like I use this thing called an anger iceberg.
Right, right.
So, when you see an iceberg, you see that ice part sticking out the water.
Right.
But the huge part of an iceberg is actually under the water. Yeah. It's not visible.
Right, right, right.
So that's what anger does. Anger sits on top of what you're really feeling. Maybe you're lonely.
Yeah.
Maybe you're sad.
Yeah.
Maybe you feel mistreated. Maybe you feel like you're dealing with some level of injustice. Maybe you feel confused. Maybe you feel like you've been mistreated and done dirty. Maybe you feel like things aren't going to change. You feel hopeless. But it shows up in anger.
Right.
Because for many of us, that seems to be the emotion that's acceptable. And it's also one of those emotions that feels very protective. Like when you show up in anger, a lot of people will back off you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels defensive. It feels empowering. Like, you want this smoke?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where you may be feeling very weak,
right,
and fearful, that anger makes it look like you're not. A lot of times I tell people, look, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I ask people that have anger issues. I ask them, what are you afraid of? They're like, what you mean I ain't afraid of nothing?
Yeah, I knew that was going to be it. Yeah.
I ain't afraid of nothing. I ain't afraid of you. I'll knock you out. Blah, blah, blah. It don't even matter. And I'm like, look, you're afraid of not looking strong enough, not being strong enough. Because you talking about knocking me out. How we even get over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so, and it's okay that you feel that way. Now we want to get to the root. We want to find out if this way serves you well.
Right.
Because you have some things that serve you well.
Right.
Like showing up in a certain way may serve you well if you live in a dangerous neighborhood. But then if you leave that neighborhood, that may be seen as, man, I'm scared of that joker right there, man. They're a threat.
Yeah.
So showing up that way is not serving you well in that space. Some of the things we use to get through in the past may be the very things that are destroying our present and our future.
Very true.
But we're wired to go to that because it helped us. Man, that helped me get through. What you mean let go of that? What you mean not do this anymore?
Right.
What do you mean?
Right.
What are you talking about? Man, that's how I get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at what cost? Does that serve you well now?
Right.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Those are the things you work out in therapy.
Yeah.
Not me telling you you should want this.
Right.
No, is that what you want? Because we're talking about your life. You live this life, not me.
Right.
You live this thing.
Right.
That's why I tell clients, you the hero, not me.
Yeah.
You the hero.
Because it takes some bravery.
It does.
Yeah.
Man.
You gotta
look,
be.
It's harder to walk away from a fight than it is to engage in one.
Mm-hmm.
Engage in one is nothing. Mm-hmm. Especially now, everybody want to tape your fights.
Yeah.
Shoot. Everybody want to do pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Soon as you start getting it in, boy, everybody's phone turn on.
Yep.
You like a celebrity as long as you ain't want to get knocked out.
Yeah.
If you come out on top, you saw my man. You saw my man. You're the champ. You know?
Yeah.
But you know, it takes more power and courage to walk away from it. Mm-hmm. Because you already know some people gonna judge that as you soft, you weak.
Definitely.
Some people may judge that as everybody can come at you that way now. Mm-hmm. You know, it takes way more courage. It takes way more courage to ask for help than it does to bottle it up, and pretend. Yeah. But at what cost? Yeah. How many of us are leaving early? Mm-hmm. How many of us are sick? Mm-hmm. How many of us don't get to our potential? Mm-hmm. How many of us have terrible relationships? Mm-hmm. But we on the gram posting pics like this, me and my boo. Yep. Y'all was hugged up in Cabo. You know what I mean? 2 weeks ago.
That's all you see on there.
Yeah, now you talking about we done.
Yeah.
I got another shit.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I thought you was kissing up with her. Yeah. Later, I'm talking about this, my one and only. Yeah. I'm done. I'm off the market. Now you done? Yeah. Well, man, we ain't been good for months. Mm-hmm. Because we wear masks. Mm-hmm. I want to help people take their mask off. Yeah. And live authentically.
I love it, man.
You know what I mean?
I love it. And I appreciate you being on this show, man. It means so much to me that you're in my life. You're a special guy to me. You helped me pivot my life, man. So you being a part of my show, 12 Rounds with Chiles, it's just awesome, bro.
It's an honor.
It's awesome. We're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, too. I'm telling you. Because man, there's so many things we didn't even scratch the surface. Yeah. Like you can break up. You could do 12 rounds of mental health. Yeah. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 boom.
We're gonna come back to it then.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, because there's so many aspects of it. Mm-hmm. You know, because you have yourself as a whole person. Right. Physical health, emotional health. Right. Your health for your relationships. Yeah. You know what I mean? Health socially. Yeah. You know, there's just so many components of it. Right. And the harder it gets out here, the more necessary it is for us to show up.
Like gas almost $5 a gallon.
Yeah, man, wearing people out. Yeah. People at the pump deceiving themselves. Yeah. I saw a guy before I came here. I wanted to get a Slurpee because it's hot. Man, dude asked. He told the person, "Give me $6.30 on pump sunset." I'm like, what's that gonna do?
Hang on, what are you putting gas on
lawnmowers? Exactly. You ain't putting that in your car. Yeah. But I've heard people say I'm filling up I'm putting half a tank in because it make me feel better because I ain't spending as much money. Yeah. We're having to trick our minds because things are so hard. You know. So man, we gotta attack these things because we're needed. Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie. Black male therapists are needed. Yeah. We're needed. Yeah. I ain't just trying to make it. Look, man, I want to go on campus. I was on Towson's campus a few weeks ago. My buddy he's on a tour called Just Heal. Okay. Called his name's Jay Barnett. He's on a tour, and I was able to, come check it out. I was telling some Towson State students, look, man, y'all should be therapists. Yeah. We need y'all. Yeah. They're like, you're a therapist? Yeah. Because not saying you can't. Most therapists are qualified. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with their ethnicity or their gender or anything like that. Right. But sometimes seeing somebody that you can relate to in a certain way, like I used to shrink myself down, but I use the fact that I'm 6'5", 260, and I'm putting 4 plates.
I know on each side. I know you.
Bitch. I use those things
because
you know why? Because for some guys, that affects them. Like, the way you show up makes me feel more comfortable. Right. Being open. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I use that. I used to shrink from it. Right. I used to be like, play myself small. Yeah. But now, man, I embrace it. Yeah. Because some guys, that's all they relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've worked with kids who say, they cuss everybody out, fight anybody.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, you got to fight everybody. Yeah. Why you don't fight me?
Yeah.
You look like you knocked me out. See, they confuse fear with respect.
Yeah.
Fear and respect don't always mean the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you could ever get past that fear,
right,
you're going to punch me in my mouth.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, I respect you. No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Fear me. There's a difference.
Right.
You know? So sometimes just seeing that physicality affects certain people.
Yeah.
So, man, I embrace it now.
Yeah.
But it's really about embracing you. The more I learned how to embrace me,
right,
the more I embrace that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because so many, like I said, there's so many different avenues and ways this thing can go.
We're gonna get back.
We can spend a whole entire
we
can spend a whole entire hour talking about how so many of us live outside in when we should be living inside out.
Yeah.
So many of us are affected about what's going on around us.
Yeah.
And that's affecting who we see ourselves as inside.
Right.
When really who you see yourself as inside should be affecting what's going on around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's tied to our emotional and mental health.
Right.
You know, and like I said, it's just so many different aspects.
Well, we're gonna come back to it though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I know you probably gotta get back to field day.
I do gotta get back to field
day.
I love it's hot out there, boy.
I miss them days, man. Field day, we running around, packing sack race, all that stuff.
All them jokers want is popsicle.
That's it. It's hot. Yeah,
that's all you talk about. We will get popsicle. That's all you think about? Man, it's almost 90 degrees. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. We getting popsicle.
Y'all got us running around.
They got me running. Yeah. But once you get into it, like I said, once you get into it, you're like, nah, it's like therapy. I ain't going up in there. Get in there. Man, yeah. I can't tell you how many men I've had. As soon as they sat down, I'm like, this joker has no plans of coming back here.
Yeah.
Every time I meet with somebody, I kid you not, child. In my mind, I have to earn the right for you to come back next week. That's how I approach it.
Right.
This is going to be such a transformational experience for you that you're going to come back. You're going to run to be back here.
Yeah.
Like that men's group we do every other Wednesday. That thing going to have to expand.
Yeah, it is.
It does.
It is.
I wanted to keep it small.
Look, after everybody see this, you know we're going to be getting phone calls.
Yeah. I want to keep it small, but I'm going to have to expand it.
Yeah.
Because the need is so great.
It is.
And the things that pop off in there.
Every time we in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And you'd be like, I'll never go to nothing like that. Get in there and be like, man, I wish this had been around. Like I said, what drove me to the field? I wish I had access to the support.
Right.
So as a therapist, I look to be the therapist I wish I had.
Yeah. When
I went through 12th grade depressed. The therapist I wish I had when I was 12, when I was wild enough to get the baddest girl in school and one of them corny notes talking about, will you be my girlfriend? Yes, no, maybe.
We all did it though.
And she clowned me in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember running her to the other side of the school crying.
Yeah.
And I remember telling myself, I ain't never gonna have no girlfriend. I'm ugly. And it's over for me. And man, I had girls come at me and I would say, you setting me up.
Yeah.
Off of that rejection.
Yeah.
Man, I ain't talked to a girl that showed me love till I was almost 16 years old again. Because in my mind, you were setting me up like she was. That was traumatic for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to be I strive to be the therapist every day that should have been there for 12-year-old Cliff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's dope.
Who typically gets, man, just get over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what we do.
Yeah. And whatever. Yeah. She ain't want you, but there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah.
See all these chicks out here? Man, it's not that it's all these chicks out here. It's what happened inside me when she did what she did. I felt rejection.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it got internalized as you're not good enough. Therefore, now every action avoiding that contact is an effort to protect myself from feeling that feeling again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things to protect ourselves from feeling certain stuff. I ain't gonna get too close. Or I got a wife, a mistress, and a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because that's what we're going to hear on the rap song since we get out of here, right?
And then you run, but you run it off like that's just the way I am. Yeah. No, that's what you use to protect yourself because somebody hurt you.
Yeah.
Or you didn't get security or secure attachment when you were a kid.
Right.
So now you don't know how to securely attach. So you do these things in an effort to protect yourself, or you go too hard in relationships because you feel like you got to perform for love.
Yeah.
And you got people please.
Yeah.
Because you're not good enough if you're not doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of us men deal with that secretly, but we don't talk about it. We try to be Superman because if I'm not Superman, they're not gonna love me. You know what I mean? If I ain't doing, I ain't loving. Man, I've lived that.
Yeah.
If I ain't doing, I ain't loving. So you doing stuff, people like, man, I ain't asked you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You like, you sorry.
Yeah.
You resentful. You just sorry. I can't stand. I ain't doing nothing for none of y'all no more. And you back to doing it because you know why? You equate serving with love.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, man, I'm telling you, it's so much.
Right.
Like I said, man, it's an honor to be on here.
Man, I thank you, bro.
Man, I'm proud of you too, man. Watching.
You don't even understand.
Yeah, because you watching your life.
You watching the process.
Yeah.
You watching the whole process. So it's a big deal.
Yeah. And
a big deal.
Others are watching the process too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Others are watching. Think about them young guys you work with. You can help them avoid a lot of missteps.
And I'm seeing it now.
Yeah. You can help them.
Yeah.
Or you can be there to help them process what they already been through.
Right.
Because they need their fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, can I shout out my tags?
Shout them all out.
You know what I mean?
Shout out everything.
As we close up.
Yes.
Look, if you're looking to follow me or if you're inquiring about services, you can email me at cliftonbrightjr@gmail.com. That's CliftonBrightJr@gmail.com. Or you can follow me on Instagram. It's Clifton, CLIFTON _ Bright, BRIGHT _LCPC. And it's Clifton Bright Jr. on Facebook. And it's also Bright House Counseling. That's the name of my company, Bright House Counseling and Coaching, on Facebook as well. You can hit me up there if you're inquiring about services. Even if you don't come to me, I know a lot of good male and female clinicians.
Yeah.
We can get you with somebody. I can refer you to somebody.
Definitely.
Just want you to take your mental health seriously because your mental health is your wealth.
That's right.
You know, to the degree of the way you think is the way you're going to live.
Right.
So, yeah, you can follow me on those.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure they know all your tags.
Look, you know I got put out again 12 rounds with Chiles. Look, we on YouTube, we on Spotify now. I think we done hit iTunes. Of course we on Facebook. We doing some big things, man. You can
big ball
on FaceTime. James A. Chiles. That's CHILES on. Did I say FaceTime or did I say Facebook?
You said FaceTime.
Look, I'm over here trying to get somebody.
Don't give me your FaceTime.
Don't y'all be calling me now.
Don't give me your FaceTime.
Look, but that's on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Chiles Plays, CHILESPLAY_fitness. And I think I got a new page up. I actually got to go talk to my producer, the guy behind the camera, Saquon, because every day he got something popping up on my phone. I'm getting all these alerts. So we're doing some good numbers out there, but it means we giving out a good message. And this was very, very important to me. Of course, like we know what the month is.
Mental Health Awareness Month.
We know that it takes more than a month. You know what I'm saying?
It takes every day.
It takes every day.
Every day.
Every day. And it's a process. It don't just happen overnight. It's not that I just show up for a couple sessions and bing, Chiles is all right. He walking out here with a smile. He good to go. No, it's a process, and I'm learning every day from you.
That's it.
The men's meetings are great. We're gonna probably, after everybody see this, we're gonna probably have to expand. We're gonna have to expand. But we'll definitely, that'll be something that maybe we can work on together later on.
Yeah,
maybe later on. But
that's it.
I definitely appreciate having you on. I appreciate the people that are supporting this because this is an important topic. Like, pay attention to the people around you. Pay attention to the people that you love. Put effort into it. Dedicate yourself to yourself, and stay consistent. Stay consistent.
Check in on your strong friend.
That's it. That's it. Thank you for watching. This is 12 Rounds with Chiles. This was an awesome show, man.
It was.
Awesome show. Man, we out. We out, man.